afternoon, everyone. My name is Cable, and I'm the founder of Stroom. So Stroom is industry's first asset stabilization and revenue management platform for retail, office, and industrial asset classes. I want to start off by sharing a little bit about my background. So I've been in startup space for around 7 years now. Started out as a software engineer building products, and for the last 5 years, I've been focused on applying data science and economics to different problems in urban environment, crime, education, and most recently, I was an economist at Grab, which is Uber in Singapore, working on pricing and valuation models. So when it comes to real estate asset pricing and leasing, there are some of the most complex decisions an asset manager or property managers have to make. There are long leases, specifically for office, retail, and industrial asset classes. There are several factors to consider. Each property is unique, so pricing varies by property type, its location, history, and so it really becomes difficult for a human to sort of process all this information and make optimal pricing decisions. The current status quo is property managers use list of comparable spaces and comparable leases, historical data, and use that as a reference to price properties. We take a different view. We think commercial real estate market is kind of similar to a stock market. You're constantly seeing fluctuations in supply and demand in the market, and it's this dynamic market. And therefore we set out to make software to solve some of these complex pricing and leasing challenges for asset managers. So let's talk about some of these leasing and pricing decisions that asset managers have to make, or landlords. From a landlord's perspective, it's how do you approach pricing strategically and then adjust rental rates and set lease variables. So factors like credit history or tenant credit, its effect on asset values, long-term leases, high cash flow. So if you're a landlord and you're considering selling your property or you're looking to refinance, maybe you want to max out on rental income in the year that you're going to refinance. So for later stages of the rental. So upon lease expiration, you're going to have to make, as a landlord, you make decisions on whether to renew or find a new tenant. So we really help asset owners make informed decisions on these. Deal analysis, looking at cap rates, how those deals are going to impact your cap rate, credit impact. And then our product also helps from a portfolio level. Our product also helps asset managers test performance under different market and economic scenarios. So things like what happens to a portfolio or an asset performance when inflation changes? How does that impact cap rates? Ultimately, what it really comes down to is cash flow, the net operating income, and the underlying value of the asset. So I think we're all familiar with how sort of last few months have radically changed the industry. It's well documented. There is uncertainty around pricing, valuation, volatility in the market. One metric that I really like to track is Green Street's commercial property price index. And October 2020, we're still down 10%. And that's 10% from pre-pandemic levels. And that's where we were at in 2015, I believe. So the 5 years of growth that we've had all is kind of like wiped away in that in last 6-7 months or so. And there's a lot of sort of mismatch in expectations as well. So like buyers are looking for bargain deals, and then sellers are kind of hoping for the best price they can get in the market. And this is coming directly from Green Street Advisors on their platform. So what we have done is we have built a decision support system to optimize these leasing and pricing decisions. We've built proprietary models and algorithms trained on historical market data like asking rents, vacancy rates, rental growth, unemployment in the industry. And we have variables that vary depending on what asset we're looking at. So office we would consider non-farm employment. For retail, it's foot traffic, it's consumption, it's spending, and similarly for industrial as well. What we've been able to do with our models and algorithms is really uncover how rental prices change over time and what are some of the trigger points or demand determinants based on like underlying economic and market forces. Our ultimate goal here is to make the process of leasing and pricing decisions 10x better and materially move the cap rates for the properties. So in terms of the data, we collect data from several different sources. It's marketing data, which is tours, phone calls, inquiries into specific properties, website visits, internet listings, market velocity. We measure how quickly a property is moving through the market. Location data. I think we saw a great presentation on location data right before this. We are also looking at macroeconomic variables and how those affect cap rates. And they also tap into some of the property management software that our clients use for accounting data as well. And all of this is aggregated into our engine to make recommendations that improve yields on the property. So I'll quickly jump into the demo. Cool. So you guys should be able to see a landing page.
We can. Yeah.
Awesome. So there's two parts to our product. The first one is the listing site where we collect information about the properties, its characteristics, its attributes, and this feeds into our pricing product, which is what I'll jump into right away. So I've pre-filled some of the data. So a user enters location information, address, what kind of property they're looking to price. Is it a new lease or renewal? Class, characteristics like size, and lease term as well. So how long is the lease for, and asking rents. Some amenities as well. So when the user hits generate comms, what are, gonna have to, all right, I'll just use this just in case. Sorry, I apologize for that. Yeah, so user enters all of this information into the platform. And what the product does, it finds comparable spaces. So really there are three components to how we think about pricing a commercial real estate asset. It's comps, it's market, and it's leasing variables. So it's things like concession, what are the operating costs, who's paying for some of the improvements before signing a lease. So, right. Yeah, so hit generate comps. Yeah, so it's going to find neighboring properties that are similar to the property that you're looking to price. And then you can see there is transit scores, and we use a lot of location information in the background to ensure that our properties are indeed comparable. And then users can also enter a new property. So we may not have that information, so they can kind of enter information about the properties that they or lease information that they have as well. So market data is so based on current market information, we make adjustments to the base price, and this could be if it's low vacancy, high demand, which our models recommend. And that puts upward pressure on rental prices. So we add an adjustment to rental prices based on market information and what our models are suggesting. And then the second thing we look at is market velocity. So how likely are you to find a tenant in the market as well? So absorption rates. And the third layer of pricing that we add is it's these variables, and these are negotiable, right? So these are something that there is a little bit of art to leasing, and these variables are something that asset managers, property managers negotiate with the tenants, and once they enter all of this information, we can calculate if it's a new lease, what's the vacancy loss like, how much, what's the impact on cap rate based on tenants as credit information, which we can pull through some of our data sources as well. And then, client can kind of analyze different cash flow scenarios and see what that looks like over time. And and then they can take a snapshot of this and then share that as a PDF as well. So with relevant stakeholders. Cool. So that was the demo, and then it's fairly large market. I think everyone in this room is aware. There are certain adjacent companies in the market that have built similar products for multifamily, but we're the first ones to sort of tackle this for retail, industrial, and office spaces. That's it. Thank you. Feel free to get in touch for more information. Happy to chat and show you a demo as well.
Great, thank you.